Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about different kinds of assets and 4 different ways you can use them. I'm Jedediah Thomas with the Online Wealth Machine. If you're seeing this for the first time, definitely like and subscribe to my channel and join the Online Wealth Machine. The link is in the comments. Definitely got a lot of content coming and got a lot more good stuff coming up. So, different types of assets. In my Introduction to Assets video, I talked about anything can be an asset. And that's contrary to Robert Kiyosaki's opinion, is that only cash flowing assets can be considered assets. I think those are great assets, but you have to keep in mind that there are other reasons why you would need assets, and they do very different things. So today I wanted to go into 4 different ways you can use different types of assets, and that will expand your thinking on assets, and you can definitely start improving your life, growing your asset column, and really making the most out of everything you can. So I will start off with cash flowing assets. A cash flowing asset is basically anything that puts money into your pocket, whether you're working or not. Okay, you could go to get some rental properties, and as they rent out, as long as you have more money coming in than you have going out for repairs and expenditures and things like that, that's a cash flowing asset. You could get a car, and instead of you using the car, you could rent it out to friends or something. As long as you have more money coming in than your car payment, that's a cash flowing asset. You could create contracts that pay you a certain amount of money every time the contract is utilized. I've done that before myself. There's basically any number of things that you can turn into a cash flowing asset. And the whole point of that is to create passive income over time so that you can kind of work away from being reliant on your job income or your retirement income, and you can actually build your income over time and cycle that into building more and more income. So that is an incredibly powerful type of asset. I love Robert Kiyosaki. He's one of my favorite authors. Definitely look into his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you have not. Now, I also want to talk about store of value assets. So this is kind of the type of asset that he doesn't really like, because oftentimes on paper it takes money out of your pocket. And these would be things like land that's not being rented out or used. It's just sitting there as a store of value. Could be, your car, if you're not using it for cash flowing asset. It could be any number of things. And the idea behind those is to take your money out of the bank, out of currency, and put them into something that has value long term. And that could be precious metals. It could be, any number of things. It's just a different way of using assets. And the third type of asset I want to talk about is insurance assets. These can be things like insurance policies on your home or your life or your car or anything like that that will protect the underlying assets. If you own stocks, you could use stock options for that. You could use basically anything that, protects another asset. These are of critical importance. You want to use precious metals to guard against inflation. You want to, protect your money from being in the bank and being in currency and being stolen really easily or digitally hacked or things like that. So there's a lot of assets in that category as well. And finally, I want to talk about capital gains assets. So apart from the store of value assets, which are often peace of mind assets, these are going to be things that you're going to get at a low price and flip them at a higher price. You buy low and you sell high. These could be things like flipped houses. These could be things like stocks. These could be things like options. There's any number of things in each category. And I really wanted to talk about, there is no one type of asset that only applies to each category. Because you can take, stocks and options, for example. If you wanted to do a store of value, you just put your money into the stock and you hold it long term. It's very simple. If you wanted to turn that into a cash flowing asset, then you could get dividend producing stock. So every quarter or every year or however the company does it, they pay out dividends. Warren Buffett uses stocks in that method. And if you want to use protection, you could use stock options to have a hedged position against your stock position so that it protects you in case, the value doesn't quite go the way you want it to. And then you can also use them for, obviously, capital gains. You buy your stocks low and then you sell them high. And the same thing can be done with real estate. If you want to just have a store of value, something that gives you peace of mind, get a house and live in it, and, it has increases in value over time. If you want to cash flow from it, rent it out to other people. If you want to, protect it, you get homeowners insurance, or any kind of property insurance that would protect your asset. And if you want to do capital gains, you would be buying the house, fixing it up a little bit, and flipping it. So I really want to expand your thinking on different types of assets. Anything can be an asset, and any asset can be any type of asset. There's no real hard and fast rule behind it. You have to be creative. The ultimate goal is to build your asset column, to build your cash flow, but you also want to think about things that give you peace of mind. You want to think about things that protect your other assets. You want to think about things that store value in addition to cash flow. So as an example, if you saw my first video, you'll notice that I now have a different computer chair. Now, according to common knowledge, that's an expense or, a liability depending on how it was paid for. But I treat it as an asset because my last computer chair was very painful to sit in and it was tearing up my body. So in order to protect my body, I got a better computer chair, and it acts as insurance against my body, against, future back problems and future, pains that I could be going through. And it's peace of mind because I just feel better having a good chair. And, it's a store of value. It's not going to be something that I get capital gains from because it is losing value over time, but it's something that keeps its value, and it will be valuable hopefully for months or years to come. So that's a very kind of broad overview of different ways you can use assets. If you have any questions or comments or ways that you use different assets, definitely drop that in the comments and I'll be happy to talk with you or answer your questions, or definitely appreciate all of your feedback because, sometimes the best ideas come from, a community. I have my ideas, you have your ideas, but when we come together, that's when we truly get great ideas. So thank you for listening once again. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and join the Online Wealth Machine, which is my Facebook group, and I'll be happy to have you. We have lots of great content. We've got more content coming up. Our community is growing, and we'll be happy to have you aboard. Thank you.